Australia is probably the worst country on the planet to try and force an entirely battery electric fleet. Vast distances between cities with very little in between is a nightmare for EV range and for charging infrastructure. But that doesn't stop the politicians trying to force it on us. Like in the UK, we're saddled with our fair share of environmental nutcases. In the UK, they've got Mad Miliband, and we've got Bonkers Bowen and Airhead Albo, pushing their tyrannical green agendas of net zero and renewable power, agendas which have transformed Australia from one of the cheapest countries for electricity in the world to one of the most expensive. But the Aussies are a practical bunch, and they like their tough trucks. The Ford Ranger and the Toyota Hilux being two of the most popular cars, and they are shunning EVs in droves. Not only are sales plummeting despite massive incentives, but the energy market operator has slashed its estimate of EV adoption in the next decade by half. Hopefully, we can keep pushing it down as the years tick by. Welcome back to MGUY, British engineer and lawyer, now Sydney-based YouTuber. Be sure to follow me on the usual socials for more content, links in the description, and please make sure you're subscribed and have enabled all notifications so you don't miss out on any future videos. We'll take a look at the energy market operator in a moment, but it's floods of tears over at, quotes, Australia's most trusted and well-read electric vehicle news site, The Driven, as it reports on the dire state of Aussie EV sales. Tesla and BYD lead EV sales slump in August despite price cuts and new models. Electric car sales in Australia have dipped for the second month in a row during August, despite multiple existing EV makers cutting prices across their lineup and introducing multiple new models. The latest data from the Federal Chamber of Automotive Industries (FCAI) and Electric Vehicle Council (EVC) shows that 5,892 battery electric vehicles were sold in Australia in August, a share of just 5.9% of the overall new car market. Both brands, Tesla and Polestar, however, are sharply down from a year ago, with Model Y sales nearly halving from 2,314 in August last year to 1,300 in August this year, and down from 1,335 in July, although the Model 3 was up to 1,063 from 999 in the same month last year. Polestar 2 sales fell to 62 from 225 a year ago, ahead of the release of the Polestar 3 and Polestar 4. 5.9%! Yikes! And guess what? Like everywhere, people are flooding to hybrids instead, as they are a way better option for the vast majority, removing the horrible inconvenience of charging. FCAI CEO Tony Webber said in a statement that hybrid sales were up 44.9% on August 2023, and sales of plug-in hybrid vehicles more than doubled. However, in line with the experience in many global markets, sales of battery electric vehicles are disappointing, he said. This is despite the supply of battery electric vehicles increasing significantly, with more brands and EV models having entered the Australian market. I think the more that this obsessive government pushes EVs, the more the average Aussie will just reject them. Like most people, we hate being told what to do. And as a result of this market crashing, the Australian energy market operator, AEMO, is breathing a sigh of relief as it realises the grids won't be overloaded as quickly as they had thought, as the number of EVs is so much less than previously anticipated. Again, more floods of tears from the offices of The Driven. EV forecasts slashed as new vehicle standards allow car makers room to push hybrids. Forecasts for the uptake of electric vehicles in Australia have been slashed dramatically, and the impact of the federal government's signature vehicle emission standards, which allows car makers room to push hybrid options, have been blamed, to the delight of the big Japanese car makers. The latest 10-year outlook by the Australian energy market operator, which includes forecasts for consumption and supply over the coming decades, now predicts there will be 4 million EVs on Australian roads by 2034, consuming around 8 terawatt-hours a year from charging from the grid. That 4 million forecast would account for around 1/4 of all residential passenger vehicles, but it is down significantly from the forecast of 7 million EVs made just last December. Oh my God. So it's gone down over 40% in just 9 months. That, quite frankly, is incredible. AEMO says the EV forecast has been tempered by new data that reflects longer vehicle lifetimes, which means owners of petrol and diesel cars may be slow to buy new cars and make the switch to electric. Exactly what I have been saying. People will hang on to their existing cars as long as they can, rather than be forced into buying something they don't want. And all of this is blamed on, quote, scare campaigns and misinformation about EVs, unquote, according to the article. Not the fact that EVs are hopelessly inconvenient and impractical for most people, and a financially ruinous proposition as well, given their catastrophic depreciation that they suffer. My view is that if we can delay the madness of EVs for long enough, then some sense may eventually return to the whole energy transition debate, which is currently fueled by magical thinking and ideology. But if we get pushed too far down that road, it will be very hard to turn back. All I can say is that Australia is doing a fantastic job of putting a massive two-fingered spanner in the EV and net zero works.